Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to have a look at a game review of Game 10 from the World Chess Championship 2024, played between Gukesh Dommaraju and Liren. Ding here starts off with d4. So we had a rest day yesterday, and in game 10 Ding starts off with d4, knight f6, knight f3, and we have d5, and Ding plays the London system again. So Ding Liren has played the London system 3 times so far in the World Chess Championship, once in 2022 and twice so far this year. And as you can say, as long as black is able to defend solidly, the things won't go either way. So e6 was played by black, e3, and then we have c5 under a direct attack on the center by black. So bishop e2 was played by white. It's an interesting move by Ding here. And then we have bishop d6, having tried to offer a trade of bishops. Now, generally speaking, black will in this position play queen b6, attacking this b6 pawn, and after the pawn push, then obviously the other pawn will also come to c5. This creates some sort of weaknesses in white's camp. That's how usually it's played, but in this instance, obviously, Gukesh plays bishop d6 and tries to trade off the bishops. Now first d takes c5 and then bishop takes c5, and as you can see, this black bishop has moved twice. So obviously they moved once from c to d6 and then took the pawn on c5. So the bishop moved twice in the opening, which is some sort of a concession for white. Now after c4, both sides castle, and then we have knight c6, knight c3, and then we have d takes c4. First bishop takes a c4, and now we have come to the end of the opening. So as you can see, white has 4 pieces developed in the opening compared to black's 3 pieces. So this is a small concession for white. Also, black's bishop is actually trapped behind its pawns. So black has to work on that to sort of relieve its bishop from this pawn chain. Apart from that, both pawn structures are identical and there are no imbalances so far. So here, interesting move played by Gukesh. He plays knight h5, and it looked like we are going for an interesting game. The whole idea is obviously it attacks the bishop. And here, Ding plays bishop g5. Now, an interesting way to go about this is to play knight e4 first, and if when the knight takes the bishop, you simply exchange the queens, and once that is done, white will take the other bishop and sort of create some weaknesses in black's camp. But that's not how it went. They simply played bishop g5, and after that bishop e7 was played, knight e4 was played here. Now another interesting way to go about this is to play bishop takes e7, and when the queen takes the bishop, you obviously have knight b5. This obviously threatens to take this knight, and once that is done, you obviously can bring the white's knight to e5, and also this will obviously have an indirect attack on the h5 knight. So this is another way to create some imbalances, but that was missed out in this game. They simply played knight e4, and here knight f6. Ding actually takes the knight, and after the bishop takes the knight, both first the queens were exchanged, and after that the bishops were exchanged. So now black has some weakness, which is the double pawn on the f file, but unfortunately for white, this pawn here is unable to be exploited because they do not have the dark square bishop. So first here, after this, rook was brought to d1. Now the fight will happen to take control of this d file, and eventually the c file as well with the rooks. So bishop d7, the rook comes here, white's rook comes to c1, and we have bishop e8. Rooks were exchanged on the d file, and after that king f1 was played. As you can see, we are now going towards a draw. There's really not much both sides can do unless they intentionally create some weaknesses. So now king g7 was played, a3, and then we have f5 move. King comes closer to the d file to take control of this. After king f6, we have bishop e2. The knight moves to e7, and after g3 was played, black offers a trade of rooks. The trade of rooks were exchanged here, and after that knight d2 was played. Knight d6 by black, and then knight c4 was played by white. Then here both knights were exchanged, and as we now know, the only weakness for black is that the two double pawns in the f file. So bishop c6 was played. After f4, as you can see, f4 move controls the e5 and g5 squares, which means the king has to come to the center this way. So b6 was played, king d2, and as you know, now the kings are coming towards the center. After b4, f6 was played, and then king d4 was played by white. Now the only way white can create some imbalances is to pretty much undermine the center this way, but unfortunately white's king is far away from the queen side. It can backfire if they don't play correctly, and this could create some weaknesses in white's camp. And that's probably one of the reasons after h6 was played, both sides actually repeated the move. So there was a 3-4 repetition, and the game ended in a draw. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more videos like this, please like and subscribe, and it's bye for now.